right. I think we're live. I think we're live.
We are, we are.
I think so. Send me the notification if you get it.
All right. I can do that. There it is.
Sign to the chat. Okay, we're signed in. Perfect. Yo, what up, Shadow? Alright,
Hello.
guys. This is not gonna be like my normal streams. We're probably not gonna be here for too long. It's gonna be like what we did for my Beyblade and JJK video. We're gonna be ranking all of the Sakamoto Days assassins. Reason why I wanted to do it in a tier list format is because I cannot be bothered to do it in a video format, and there's honestly a bunch of stuff to go over, and it's probably better for me to do it in a tier list setting, especially since now I've been rereading the manga. I've reread the last arc. My knowledge is up to date. You know, I'm trying to. Well, most of it is up to date. I've been rereading. I reread majority fights. So we're oiled up, low bro. Oil up, low bro. Hello, bro. What's up, guys? What's up, guys?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Jesus, man. These are the people. These are the people. Hello, Wendy. Yo, you're about to get timed out though. Sorry, buddy. Time you out for like.
What a human.
I'm timing out for like 30 minutes. You're a little too much. But yeah, with me today, we don't have Zam or Lita or Matt or Pop Tato or AJ. It's just me and Godspeed today. But you know, that's
Just
all,
me.
that's all. Hey, bro.
Funny voice man.
Hey, that's all we knew. Hey, that's all we need, bro. That's all we need, bro. You know what I mean? We're Shin and Sakamoto. He's Sakamoto because he's fat. You know what I mean? And
Okay, it's probably not true.
let's do this. All right. So start. Oh wait, actually, hold on, wait, because I put it. Oh, I forgot. I reset it. Let me put in question. Let me do this real quick. Strongest.
Please color your tears.
Yeah, I will.
Thank you.
Goats. Order level. Suborder. High mid tier, low tier, and then question mark. How many tiers does the list have, or did we initially have?
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoa, I can't count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
8 total?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Then yeah, we got them right. All right.
It had the strongest or level plus order, high tier, high mid, mid, low, and then question mark.
All right, guys. So before we do the list, now that we got the tier list names, I forgot I reset it. We did a draft before this. My bad. Okay. So first tier, strongest, pretty self-explanatory. Or actually, no, we should go from bottom to top. We got the question mark tier. We're gonna be putting characters that are either situational or just don't really have any feats, or we just don't really care about. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. For this tier, we have Uda. Uda, the thing is, I think he has like a cool reaction feat. I think he like blocks Sakamoto's punch. This was the one that fought apart. The thing is, all he does is just blow himself up. So, I don't know where to put him on the list. And the only thing that got damaged was like Sakamoto's apron. So like, I
mean, hey man, could like episode 1 Shin do that? Could you do that, bro?
Yeah, I guess so, bro. He's above Shin's boss from episode 1 that doesn't have a name. Next up is Lu's like brother, Wu-Tang. I think he just mainly has like a cool ability or whatever. He's like really smart or whatever. I forgot what his specific ability is, but he doesn't fight. Pretty much is what I'm getting at. Doesn't really have any scaling to go with. Next guy in this tier is gonna be Oki. This is the current leader of the order, I believe.
Yeah, we don't know what he does yet.
We just, yeah, I mean, he's portrayed to be strong. Like, we're thinking right now, honestly, he could be above Shishiba just because, like, he's not really threatened by him, and he's kind of ordering him around. Whatnot, Shishiba
And he was
isn't
like, "Oh, I'll
really,
kill you."
yeah, and Shishiba is kind of like a guy who's like does his own thing, but that's kind of too vague. And we were initially well, okay, we did put the new order guys in this tier originally, but honestly they do kind of have scaling for us to at least kind of rank them.
Yeah, like a little bit.
So we're gonna put them on the list, but just so you guys know, do not take their placement too seriously, just because again their scaling's a little it's really new. They just like pulled up in the series a couple weeks ago. Could be stronger, could be, you know, maybe there's a little bit more downplay, so just keep that in mind. Next tier, yeah, these all the random guys we're just gonna be putting here. Like these don't really matter necessarily too much. These guys
We had
chapter, don't really care about them. These guys that
what's it
Haruma
called?
one shots.
We had I think X's brother was there, right?
Who?
The Asaki guy.
Oh yeah, the chairman. Yeah, we also don't know how strong he is, like straight up. So
He probably could be a
Amin's
crackhead.
grandpa. I don't care. Yeah, no one cares about Amin's grandpa.
And then we had
and, oh yeah, the other chairman guy that was like pissing his pants. But all right, yeah, you guys get the gist. So now let's go.
Well, there was one more in this tier.
And lastly, we will say Kamihate. Kamihate will be the king of this tier just because he actually is probably the one character that.
Yeah, he could like probably beat a lot of people if he's like far away, but like up close, like bruh, what does he do?
That's what I'm saying. Like, in terms of close range, he really isn't all that. Like we saw him like physically moving, but like kind of portraying relativity with like Osa and stuff like that. But even far away, he was like. You know what I mean? Like, apparently.
I mean, up close at the start of that fight, he was like, "Oh, should I even shoot my gun?"
Yeah, bro, when he was remember when the flashback or whatever? Even before we saw him fight, we saw like Nagumo and Sakamoto when they were on that mission. I'm gonna actually try and get the panel on screen for you guys.
With Hio, I think, right?
Hio, where Hio was like, "Oh, we are
Prime Hio."
With Prime, yeah, that was the one that blocked JC Saka. Come on now.
Yeah, Kenza Saka, skinny. Yeah, wasn't skinny Saka, it was JCC.
Kamihate secured a mission. Like, Kamihate at his best could be an asset so, like, useful that could even be an ally to characters like Nagumo and Sakamoto, who are pretty much the top two in the order. Or he could be a Heisuke victim. You know what I mean? Like, it's a little weird. The thing is, though, in that whole fight with Heisuke, anyway, he kind of won. Like, Heisuke saw his face and was just like, oh my god. Like,
no.
On reread, I will say, because on my order video, I did kind of downplay him a little bit, said like, oh, well, like, Fat Sokka and Ko beat him, but that's not really what happened. But here's the panel on screen, like, as soon as Kamihate's on screen or whatever, it's, oh yeah, we've won pretty much.
Heisuke's a little different though. We have him like actually on the list on the list.
Yeah, but listen, it might seem double standard, but Heisuke actually does have a fighting style, and he specifically does fight in close range, whereas Kamihate likes to doesn't really.
He will. Well, if we're talking especially in character, he will literally like fold.
Yeah. Kamihate in character doesn't even like fighting anyway. He likes to keep a distance, likes to have knowledge on the opponent, like get rid of his targets. That's just kind of how he is. Also,
there is also a certain line of scaling that you could use to like judge Heisuke's actual ability.
Yeah, we'll mention because there is a tier where we do think Kamihate could be obviously. I mean, the order level tier, he's gonna obviously probably be there. But besides that, we have the geisha who just kind of gets bullied by Osa. She does kind of have a good feat though, because she does what's called at least block the attack that like Yotsumura got sent like 3 buildings from. So she's not trash per se, but it's just
she just really, like I mean, it's kind of hard to judge people that just get mauled by Osa.
Yeah, literally. And also, for reference, we did rank the prisoners just because we do want to give we do have a baseline for where the prisoners should be. But if you guys wanted to get specific, Dump and Minimalist should be in the question mark tier. We genuinely do not know where they are at. Minimalist got neg-diffed by Nagumo, and
oh my god.
Also literally let Dump get those hits off. So I don't really know where to put them.
Minimalist got mauled.
Yeah. And now let's actually talk. Now that we got rid of the extras, we can actually get into the real list. The weakest character in Sakamoto Days, in my opinion, is Base Lou. This girl just like knocks out a dude, has like Tai Chi or whatever. I think whatever. I don't even know what she got.
Base Blue versus Kid Sakura, who wins?
Listen, she might win. At least she has a fighting style. But
Hey, Sakura could use her biting technique or
she
like
has the booby trap from Storm 4 too.
yeah, clone jutsu.
But yeah, Lou is just kind of trash. Next up are the assassins that are introduced into Lou's arc. They were just about to kill her. I mean, that's really all they got. By themselves, they actually have no scaling, and technically they could be weaker, but we did see Sun Hee at least like it wasn't really a hard task for them to kill Lou, and like Fat Sokka needed to help her against one of them anyway, so they probably just are above Lou. But for example, for the next person on the list, Tatsu, I think Tatsu should probably beat them. The reason why I believe this is because we do know Shin is the thing is Shin was poisoned, but he was also in a setting where he was performing better because he wanted to grow stronger and protect Sakamoto, and we do know in Sakamoto that people do draw strength from protecting others. The thing is though is that like okay, I feel like okay, Bacho and Sunhee, they could maybe kill Tatsu, but like what's gonna happen when they just get poisoned? You know what I mean? And like I said, by themselves, one-on-one, they really don't like have much. They just kind
Oh
of.
yeah, the chat has a question.
What's up?
They're asking, are we judging how strong they are in general, or like just raw?
Okay, so for this list, we're gonna be. It's pretty much kind of both. What I mean by it sounds confusing, I know, but what I mean by this is. Like right now, what I am saying to this that's actually kind of interesting because it answers the question right now. The matchup I'm talking about, Bacho and Sunhee could be stronger than Tatsu physically, but because of Tatsu's poison, I do believe he could win. I think it's more than likely that he wins. Therefore, Tatsu's above him. This is more so closer to who I think wins in a fight rather than in a physical like contest. Other than because otherwise we're gonna have like Haruma, Hio at like the top. I don't really care about that. It's more
because they're like physical strength monsters.
Yeah, whatever matchup or scenario, when we get to it, we'll be addressing it in this video. But it's more so of like what character is more than likely to be who can more than likely be who, pretty much. But with that, Tatsu is there. I know I'm getting rid of all these characters, guys. I know you guys don't give a damn about Tatsu or Sunhee or Bashi. You don't even remember these guys, but trust me, we'll get there.
We'll get to the content.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. After these guys, I think
is like boiled girl.
Oh yeah, Obigoro. All right, so the reason why she's here is because I mean Tatsu like he just tells Shin like, oh yeah, these guys are like way stronger than me. They'll kill me instantly. You guys are cooked. Blah blah blah. Drunken Lou. Thank God Lou is not actually the weakest version, or this version of Lou is not the strongest version of her. Drunk Lou would be above Obiguro just because when she was under the influence and she didn't really want to fight, even though she was limited to like the amount, well, Obiguro technically would beat her in a fight, but Drunken Fist Lou is stronger than her, so I'll put Obiguro above her. Drunken Fist Lou, for the minimum like of time she was drunk, she was blitzing Obiguro, she was overwhelming her, outscaling her. So I don't really see her doing much. Thank God I muted my mic. Okay.
Okay.
Jesus.
Oh yeah, Nick is asking, are you enjoying the series so far?
Am I enjoying the new Sakamoto? Yes. The new chapter is pretty good. Very fire. I love it.
I love Sakamoto.
That's all I'm saying, bro. It's the best manga out right now. Slur over Takamura. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Don't worry.
The only new gen manga that isn't constantly on break.
I'm saying, yeah.
I'm looking at you, JJK. Where's my youth of greatness? Please don't show him losing again, bro.
Oh my god. Anywho, yeah, Obiguro should be above Drunken Fist Lou just because Lou can only be drunk for like 2 minutes, but the 2 minutes that she was drunk, she was beating her up pretty badly.
Yeah.
We'll go now into the next tier, which is the mid tier. That being Shin. All right, so this is
Wait, they had another guy. There was the Horiguchi guy first.
Oh, the scientist guy. Oh, whoops. Okay, at the bottom, at the king of low tier, we have
Low
Hogurichi
tier
or
king. A
Horiguchi,
low tier god, if you will.
the scientist. The reason why is because he was just pretty much like tripping Sakamoto and Shin. They needed to work together in order to win. He's kind of a gimmick fighter. Really, it's like you need to like 2v1 to kind of deal with him. But he's like a super like he's probably the king of like the low tier Sakamoto, like the introductory like basic versions of the character before everybody starts getting like massively stronger. Which is why I'm gonna be putting base Shin above in mid tier. Because Shin gets way stronger after this arc. I mean, he's been getting constantly stronger since he's been with Sakamoto, and every fight he's participated in, he's been constantly improving. This is very much shown in the Saw fight where he was able to at least survive Saw's hits and whatnot, even without Future Sight. And I mean, the Future Sight he does specifically grow a lot. Like Future Sight Shin is a lot stronger than regular Shin, but physically he shouldn't be stronger. At least like before, like when it comes to like the power glove and whatnot, like at least like early precognition Shin should still have similar stats to physical base Shin, and that version of Shin is still a monster in his own right. So I'd put him here. Next up we have Mafuyu. I mean, Shin needed Future Sight just to deal with him, so I would assume he's just stronger than that version of him. Toromaru from that arc would be here, but we do have another version of that character, so we will not be putting her there yet. Or I'll put her here until we get to that point. Actually, I'll do that.
Right.
For next up, we have Kaji. I mean, he just kind of performs the best out of the whole squad fighting Shania. He reads Gaku's movements. Shin is reading his mind in order to get past him. I think the thing is like I think Toromaru and Mafuyu aren't like so much stronger than Kaji that like his sound they can get around like him like predicting and imitating their movements. But Toromaru, her fighting style specifically, and even Mafuyu to an extent, they're like using weapons and whatnot. So you could make an argument maybe that like
it may be less effective.
at least for Toromaru, because Toromaru was like surviving kicks and whatnot like it was nothing, whereas Mafuyu just got like he literally got like pimp smacked by Shin. It was pretty bad. So Toromaru might be above him, to be honest. I can see that. Next up, I believe we have Kashima, right?
Immortality Man, Zamasu, Zombie
Yeah,
Man.
so, okay. Kashima has unironically fought, I'm pretty sure he's fought a character in every tier. Unironic. Well,
He's fought Kumanomi. He's fought like Skinny Sokka.
he's fought,
He
okay,
got
well, he's fought Shishiba, he's fought Skinny Sokka, he's fought Main, he's fought Shin, Akira,
he did fight Shishiba, yeah.
Kanaguri, X, Sakamoto. He's fought some, apart.
And he's still alive and kicking.
Yeah, I don't understand. The reason why he's here is honestly, Mafuyu and Toromaru before their training or whatever, they were kind of terrified of him. I mean, they were able to evade him or evade his attacks, but I mean, Kashima was also somebody who survived like an assault from Sakamoto and whatnot. Even as canon, even though he did get low diffed, him being able to send Sakamoto across another train is kind of crazy, and I don't think Toromaru or any of these characters can even do that. The only reason, and another thing we were talking about as well, right, with Kaji, because he can mainly specifically imitate your movements and like copy your sound. How is he gonna imitate necessarily Kashima's fighting style when his whole thing is that he's like a weapon, like everything like every part of his body is a weapon.
Yeah, it's all machines in there, so it's gonna sound like a dangling keys.
Yeah, like I don't. There's just, I just don't understand what Kaji could really do, and I think Shin would need to use Future Sight to really get past him. Now, next up is finally the prisoners, characters that are a little more relevant for the current Sakamoto fans. You know, I think the prisoner arc.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think the prisoner arc is one of the more probably one of the arcs that gets a lot of people into the series.
I mean, yeah, because my glorious King Nagama's there, so like, of course.
Anyway, yeah, but pretty much Kashima gets beat up by Sakamoto, and after that he's like, oh well, I'm gonna summon these crazy prisoners, and they should be able to get the job done. Like, story progression tells me or tells us that they should be above Kashima, at least in terms of capabilities, and we know that
Minimalist would also literally like cube him. So
yeah, that as well. And Saw, we do at least have a baseline for them, like I said earlier, because Saw is the weakest ranked or the lowest ranked one, and we do see him fight Shin and Drunken Fist Liu. Which, speaking of, I'm going to be putting Drunken Fist Liu here just because with Future Sight Shin, she was kind of just folding Saw like it was nothing, and I mean, Minimalist and Dump could be stronger than her because they are stronger and they are higher ranked than Saw. We just don't know that. We just don't know where they are at. All we have is the baseline scaling for them. So, yeah, that's the mid tier.
So all they do is get beat up.
Yeah. Next up would be Precognition Shin. Now, some of you may be wondering if Shin and Liu were relative against Saw. Why is he a whole tier above Liu? Well, for one, Sakamoto, the whole Sakamoto Days tiering system, everybody here, like, all the tiers were pretty close. Like, like, even characters in the order, like, Shishiba can get damaged by characters like Kashima, you know? Like, that's just kind of how the verse is. They're just really strong humans and
They
whatnot.
have like that Demon Slayer durability where they're a little squishy sometimes.
Yeah, it's like Star Wars, where everybody could just kind of hurt each other. But high mid tier, this Shin, Drunken Fist Liu and initial Precognition Shin are like relative, and Shin gets way stronger. Therefore, Shin would just be above Liu by like current times, and especially by the time of the Club Jam fight and like the whole JAA infiltration arc. Next up, I believe we have who's next?
Let's see.
Exhibition Mafuyu, right?
Yeah, Exhibition Mafuyu,
Yeah,
and then Toromaru.
Yeah, Exhibition Mafuyu should be around here with Toromaru as well. Or current Toromaru would be here. So the reason why is because, well, Exhibition Mafuyu and Toromaru have been constantly training with not only X's gang, specifically Gaku, but Toromaru, like I was saying, even with Shin in that arc with Shania, she was kind of blocking Precognition Shin's hits and was kind of doing pretty comfortable, or like wasn't getting like folded by him and was able to block and parry his blows. And this Shin should be slightly stronger, but Toromaru and Mafuyu have been getting also a lot stronger. So they probably more than likely close the gap with at least the initial Precognition Shin that they fought. Next up would be, I believe, who is
Let's
let me see.
Invisible guy.
Oh, Natsuki. Okay, yeah, Natsuki would be here because he did save Mafuyu and Shin against Osaragi with the nitro bombs. Now, granted, the thing is that Natsuki in his first fight with Shin, he got like robbed of his victory, and he is like consistently being like portrayed to be way smarter, and like he's helping Shin. Like even with Haruma, those bombs were like the only reason he was able to do something against him, and he's like, oh yeah, Natsuki, you're always constantly saving me. So I do think at least the initial, like, to say that the initial Precognition Shin couldn't beat the like, or like the one that fought Saw or Shania, like just low diffs Natsuki, like especially the current one that's like helping against Satoda and Asosa and stuff like that. He should be in this tier, but I honestly think he's just purely carried by his ingenuity. I think his ingenuity and the fact that that statement of Shin, should put him above these guys. But again, it is possible for them to take him down physically. Next up would be Club Jam. I think it's Club Jam and Carolina Reaper, right?
We had Amane in there too.
Oh yeah, okay. So
and Amane in the glove Shin.
Okay. Yeah, so these are going to be the final characters for the high mid tier. We have Amane, Power Glove Shin, Carolina Reaper, and Club Jam. Now, for Amane, I mean, I feel like he does better against the not only does he seem like more of a threat to Shin and is kind of like portraying relativity to the current version of this character, but we do see him blitzing Club Jam like how Shin was doing it, or even against Carolina Reaper as well. He was blitzing against him, reacting to him similar to Shin. Pretty much, my logic is Toromaru Mafuyu had to close the gap on the first initial Future Sight Shin. Natsuki's ingenuity allows him to still keep up with those characters. And Amane, even from the get-go, was already kind of like pressing Shin, forcing him to use Future Sight. And even after the events with the JA thing and his father's death, he's gotten he seems to be improving. I mean, there is a little bit of a contentious feat I'll show on screen with Amane maybe blocking Akira's attack, but we just don't know. She probably just broke the section staff, if anything. But yeah, I don't know. They kind of like to me. It just seems like these three always be portraying that
Oh, goodness.
yeah, that kind of like relativity. Like look. So like you see him breaking
Bro,
the staff, right?
Kira is so much just such a high difference.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, for at least these versions of the character. But
It does look like he might have like blocked it a little bit though.
mhm.
But they do all still get like nagged, and it feels like none of them could do anything except for Shin
Yeah,
with
and he
precog.
also did kind of like finagle the fuck out of Kashima. So for those who want baseline scaling, he's just a tier above the mid tiers. So and with that, Power Glove Shin. I mean, honestly, in this arc, that like Shin is kind of like the leader of this like the mini like the like new gen squad kind of. It really does seem like.
Yeah,
He's kind of leading them. Oh god, Akira
and
destroyed
I'm
him.
pretty sure he's the only one who dodges, right?
Against Akira.
Yeah, against that attack.
No, I think he just like blocked. I think that's what he did. He just blocked.
Oh but yeah, I just remember it was because of his future sight that he outperformed the other two,
Yeah,
even though they all attacked together.
yeah, and even with like a main when he was like bloodlusted and being hypnotized, like base Shin with principal or future sight Shin with principal rotation just put him down.
His punching power is also insane when he has the glove
Yeah,
compared
the
to like
glove.
these
Yeah,
other characters in that tier.
the thing is, honestly, Glove Shin could be power wise. He's probably stronger than anyone in high mid, but Club Jam, I do think 1-on-1 would probably beat him just because of his hypnosis. And the only reason they got around that was Natsuki and a main being able to like blitz and overcome him and outsmart him. Carolina Reaper. I was talking about this with Isk off. What's it called off the record? Godspeed, but.
Mm-hmm.
Reaper and Jam, right? Okay. If Jam claps, Jam would probably just hypnotize Reaper and could probably get the jump on him. Like, he probably could win. The thing is like, they both have feats of, like, getting blitzed by a main, but Reaper is able to block him at one point. And then there's also another point where that attack that a main does, he just instantly slapped off Jam's arms, right?
Yeah.
Let me actually show the panels on screen for y'all, so y'all can.
So he just performs better against a main. Is it a main or a Mane?
I don't know, Chad. What is it, a main or a Mane? But do we not have? Dude, there's nothing in the Mane channel. Are we serious?
Uh-oh. Are we cooked?
No, no.
Do you remember that? Do you have the chapter on hand?
No, I got it. Yep. Mane, JCC. Yeah, he like dodged. But yeah, look at this. He pretty much Club Jam got blitzed.
Oh my god, what is he looking at?
Let me go. He was giving like a monologue or whatever. Like he was like trying to cook him.
Yeah, and he just doesn't have a hand anymore.
Let me get this panel. And then pretty much this happened. This is what I got. So he said he got scratched like that, and then he says, "Oh, did you use that to cut off my brother's arms?" So it does kind of seem, and then like he's like,
"Oh, higher."
Yeah, and Reaper. The thing is, it might just be a brotherly thing, because Reaper's like, "Oh, I'm gonna avenge my little bro," or whatever, you know, whatever. But it kind of seems like he at least physically is stronger than him. So, and at least with the laser sword thing, yeah, that laser sword, if he does land, it's if Reaper can land a hit on Jam before Jam can get like clap his hands.
Right, so they're at like a standoff, but Reaper also has the physical ability advantage.
Yeah, pretty much.
Then I think
it's weird because like yeah, it's a really tricky topic just because if they're starting off at a distance, I don't think Reaper can shoot fire from his mouth so fast that like Jam can't clap.
He just can't clap his hands or anything.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
If they do it at the same time though, Jam might get hit by the fire because obviously it'd be out of his mouth even when he claps.
Yeah, so it's a little it's definitely contentious for sure. Next up we
get hard boiled.
Oh, the goat. Now, the reason why Boiled is here, so me and Godspeed were talking about it. I was rereading the chapter. So there's actually a lot of pretty. There's actually weird scaling for Boiled. Funny enough, so Boyle is able to just like directly like even after taking hits from Slim Sakamoto and him saying that he's going all out, he's just able to recover immediately after, and he does get like, okay, he gets comboed, but the fact that he's able to like survive these attacks is kind of insane. Like for example, look at this right here.
Hashima was on his ass from like an inferior barrage of attacks.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like look at like this right here. Like right after my conscious, it just immediately goes in for a punch. So it is kind of interesting to look at.
He recovers after, yeah.
Yeah, even what's it called? Sakamoto's like, oh yeah, you're strong.
And if I recall, Sakamoto was pulling his punches on Kashima because he wanted him for information, whereas he wasn't here.
Yeah, and look, and the thing is for this, okay, there, it is interpretation based for sure, but he is about to get punched here, and listen, the glasses are not broken, so that's all I'm saying. Like he might have unironically reacted to Skinny Saka, which is kind of funny to think about, but I don't think anybody in my mid pretty much is pulling a feat off.
None of these guys down here touching Skinny Saka by this point, or even like Shin admits like complete inferiority to Sakamoto by this juncture. And Boyle is like taking this guy on, especially when he's serious at full power. His durability is just too high. He has the hacks too that was pressuring Fat Sakamoto, which, what was it, the bombs, right? Mm-hmm. Which would give a lot of these characters a struggle. Maybe you could say like Shin could hurt him with the what's it called, the gauntlet decently, but I just don't like. I think he would get blown up far too many times before he could get some like serious hits in, because Sakamoto didn't just like one punch him. He's already like greater than everybody in this tier in terms of like attack power. He like comboed him and he still kind of got back up even after. Like his endurance is just too much for everybody in this tier, and his attack power isn't lacking.
There's also, hold on, I want to actually get this scan out for y'all. Y'all gotta see this. Hold on, wait. This is actually kind of funny. This I know this is not counting Skinny. Well, actually, it could count. Look at this. The rocket punch thing. Basically, he could deliver a blow when used by anyone other than Boyle that blows off the user's arm.
I mean, and his durability is intentionally made to be massive.
Listen, yeah, that is kind of really, like, his endurance is really stupid. And there is, so before we go forward, I guess now's a good time to mention the Fat Sokka scaling, right? So,
right.
Okay, Sakamoto at the beginning of the series, when he's fat or whatever, he's only a merely 30% of what he was, pretty much. With this, when he goes skinny, he can when he burns calories, he can attain something similar to his prime, but it's nothing really close.
It's obviously not prime Sokka because the series would be over.
Yeah, it's not his prime. He is a lot weaker, and he has to rely on burning calories pretty much in order to really fight, because he's not used to his fat body. Without that, he's merely 30% of what he was, or like less than 30.
Jacob Boy in the chat said the Kakazu of Sakamoto. Talking about boils.
I'm saying, yo, wait, no, wait, he's onto something. Wait, no, he's onto something. This guy is spinning. This guy knows what he's talking about. Mob Crew, you're my brother. What's up, Matt? What's up, Matt? Or Mob Crew Amp. I think that is Matt, right? Boiled the Kakazu. Put that old fat Ty. Are you enjoying the series so far? Oh, okay, I was reading these. Shin would be in a higher list because he's entirely carried by plot. What? Skinny Sokka is just faster with less mass. No, that's not true. He definitely is stronger for sure. We do see that in fights like Kanagori. We see that with with Boiled, Bakashima. He just performs better in general.
And the old lady does make it seem as though like Skinny Sokka is definitely like an amp to his stats. Because they have him rely on it like a crutch, and he's like, oh. And the whole thing about it is that he gets stronger in his base form so that he can not need to use the skinny form, implying that it's not just like a speed boost; it's also a power thing.
The thing as well I wanted to mention, pretty much, the strongest people the fat lady pretty much when she's explaining it to Sakamoto that she is or that he's weaker, pretty much she like hits him with pressure points that makes him more so used to his fat body, and rather than needing to constantly burn calories, what he should do is adapt under these specific conditions because that's what the strongest do. And we know that Sakamoto is at his strongest initially when he is skinny.
Boiled wave.
So with that pretty much means Fat Sokka, by the time he gets the pressure points and is able to adapt to, pretty much he's able to fight with his body, he should be in that skinny Sokka tier. With that, that's where I would probably put retired Sakamoto for those who are wondering. I mean, we don't have the skinny one, so I'll probably...
It would be underboiled, right? Or unless you're talking about the one that fought apart.
Yeah, he's under... Yeah, I put him underboiled.
Right.
Yeah, but that's where retired Sokka would be. That's actually...
Shin and all these characters are like...
Yeah, even before...
Still admitting inferiority.
Yeah, by the way, before this list, we have no idea where to put retired Sokka. We were wondering about those stuff, or that stuff, but... Yeah. Next up, we have Shania and Apart. These guys just fight way stronger versions of Fat Sokka. That skinny Sokka, that overwhelmed Boiled, and that Boiled can kind of like perform a feat or two against. Shania and Apart can at least put up a decent scrap against. And it does seem like that fat current Sokka is stronger than the skinny one anyway. So they should be above Boiled, or they should be able to beat him. After this, we have, I believe, current Shin. This says Exhibition Shin, but it's current Shin with the Rewire, the ESP, Power Glove. This is Shin with all the amps. Akira and Heisuke, right? I believe.
We had turbocharged Mafuyu and Heisuke.
Oh, and turbocharged Mafuyu, yes. Okay. So these guys are all above Apart. Well, for one, base Heisuke was already being able to react to Apart. So let's just say that. That's all I'm saying. Okay, him and Fat Sokka are similar to each other. But on a serious note, Heisuke, Mafuyu, Shin, and Akira pretty much are all characters that are now approaching that more so of that order tier of power. The reason why I say this is because with Heisuke, or even let's go with turbocharged Mafuyu, who I believe is probably the weakest of this group, maybe. If we're like Shin with all of his amps and stuff like that, Shin at the time in that fight with Mafuyu was weaker, but obviously Shin at the end of the arc.
Shin is different.
Yeah, but turbocharged Mafuyu, like he was able to survive suppressed hits or suppressed blows from Osaragi. He believed Gaku's blows was heavier. You know, with the turbocharge, he was at least seemed like he thought he was at least more so on this footing where he can stand up to the order.
Yeah, even though Osaragi was like doing him dirty, but he didn't do terribly, if I remember, against the Shin.
He did way better than like fucking obviously like Dump or whatever, but it's, you know, what can you do against an order member, you know, especially somebody who's like bloodlusted and deranged like Osa. But the fact that Mafuyu was able to still do that, in my opinion, would put him above Apart. Just because, okay, Apart is close to Fat Sokka, but it really comes down to if you think pretty much those that like little suppressed feat against Osa, who's already like, you know, the order in general is just kind of established to be above Fat Sakamoto in general. If that's better than Apart fighting this current Fat Sakamoto and giving him a little bit of a hard time. So
especially since Shin does have a bit of a scrap with Sakamoto by this point, and this is the Shin that we are using, right?
Yeah, no, that as well. The Shin that specifically is fighting Mafuyu. So next up would be Shin. Okay, these next three are really fucking hard to rank. Okay, I'm not honestly, these next three I think are interchangeable if we're being honest. Shin by the end of the exhibit arc should be able to beat Mafuyu, as he not only is able to rewire thoughts, but he actually like is able to damage characters like Haruma. Haruma being a Hulk-like character who has strength not comparable, but like Hyo, in Shishiba's words. And mind you, Haruma, the entire arc was holding back purposely to get a good fight and took every single attack that he suffered in this arc before Shin's final smack, it did no damage. This would include the likes of Shishiba's attacks. So that's also another comparison for Shin and Mafuyu, because Mafuyu gets hit by suppressed Osa and like explodes. So yeah, Shin definitely got way stronger during the arc. But Akira should be here. The reason why Akira is here is because, I mean, okay.
Her hacks and her, like, when she's locked in, she's just like it's so really, powerful.
Yeah, her pathways ability allows her, like, depending on who she's fighting, she can honestly perform very well. Like against like the likes of Satoda, Shin had to use his future sight on Akira's moves to at least like react to her.
Survive.
Akira was like on her Broly shit with learning as she was fighting. It's Shin versus her is a really good fight. I'm not gonna lie, because Shin's whole thing is that he's rereading the moves, rewiring the thoughts. How would that interact with, let's say, Akira, who's reading pathways and reading someone's moves?
I would say the only thing that is a knock for her is her experience is kind of like wishy-washy compared to the other assassins. Like she gets like scared of a Kumanomi in the current chapter, and she like can't see dead bodies and stuff. So she's kind of green, but her power and her hacks is just very like solid. But if she does like lock in, like she's bloodlusted, I don't like. It's very hard to mess with her with characters on this tier. She also does, I think, kind of a feat of blocking Sakamoto, right, when he's skinny once.
Oh yeah, when she okay. The thing is that Akira currently this version of Akira that we're seeing is the one that's not bloodlusted, so she is technically weaker. But the bloodlusted version of her was able to block like a skinny Sakamoto punch, but that punch was not obviously for her. And we do see, like, after this arc or after the prequel arc, Fat Sakamoto and Rion X kind of portraying like superiority to Akira, and Fat Saka still like wanting to like, it's not like okay, if we really wanted to take that Akira feat at face value with Slim Sakamoto, then why is Fat Sakamoto in his fat form like trying to sun Akira? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's obviously not like far inferior to her.
Yeah, and even before the exhibition, Future Sight Shin could at least block a bloodlusted blow from Akira. So
yeah, bloodlusted Akira is her.
Yeah,
I agree with the chat.
I do think it's kind of. I'm thinking I might put Shin just above her for now, just because of. Okay. Just because of not only the bloodlusted fact, but it's the fact that, okay, if Akira, if her thing is that she reads pathways and reads people's movements, if Shin looks into the future and sees that, could he theoretically rewire her thoughts and basically
make her mess up her pathway?
Yeah, set up a pathway for him to attack her, pretty much.
And if he could do that, since she is inexperienced, unlike the other assassins, she wouldn't be able to adapt to it. So she would most likely fumble right there, or giving Shin the advantage. If that is how it works. If it's not, if it's like a weird like Diablo thing, like we don't know exactly what he sees when he goes into the future, then it obviously may be skewed into Akira's favor. But these two characters,
we also
I hope they fight. Honestly, I hope they fight.
I need to double check the chapter, but I don't know if Shin can use Future Sight and the ability at the same time. I assume he can. He probably is using it, honestly, because he needed Future Sight to react to her in the previous arc, but I'm not sure. But at the top of high tier, we have the GOATs! My glorious... Wait, actually, no, I lied. Wait, Fat Sakamoto is at the king of high tier, guys. But before Fat Sakamoto, we have the GOAT, Heisuke. The reason why he's here, like, okay, Shin did get stronger after the exhibition arc, but Shin is like, bro, Shin saw that whole interaction with Kamihate, and he's like, oh my, I fell off, bro. Like, he literally
had like a Sasuke moment.
I need to catch up, bro. He got, oh my, dude, Jesus. And unironically, even in the Kumanomi fight, because he became friends with Hio and befriended him and he wanted to protect him, that led into him becoming stronger and actually becoming an asset rather than a burden on Hio. And then this led into the whole Kamihate interaction, which made Heisuke literally because after the Hio fight, he got weaker because he was like fucked up. He didn't know what to do. and he ended up becoming stronger than ever before and managing to like his bullets are like clashing with Kamihate as he managed to outsmart him and was managing to unmask him. And mind you, Kamihate's bullets were piercing Sakamoto, current Sakamoto.
Yeah, Shin also makes big note to mention that he does defeat in quotes an order member on his own, which obviously Shin fails to do later when Osaragi pulls up. So if we're talking from a narrative perspective, it does sort of imply that Hisuke should be at least be on his level since he can, and Shin was showing or believing inferiority.
Yeah,
So it's not entirely
that is interesting because we have
unprecedented.
Because that whole idea, because it doesn't even matter about the specific orders they fight, it's about the whole idea of that order tier. It's the fact that it's not that they're in that order tier, it's the fact that Heisuke is closer to the order than Shin is, because we even see in the Haruma fight, Haruma is somebody who is on that tier of the order, and Shin admits inferiority to him in every
needs a power up to, in like a specific situation or he'll die. Y'all are just Shin glazers. Akira wins. Listen, if Akira had like an actual fight, like all the way through, I would probably agree.
I don't. The thing is that we don't. I already said these three are honestly like.
I think these guys are relative.
Interchangeable, bro. I honestly think they like it's just very situational how they win, especially with Akira in the new. Because Akira is just okay. Akira is fast as fuck. That's the problem. She is very fast, but she's mainly fast because she sees other people's movements. You know who also is fast for that reason? Shin. So, like, I don't... like, it's weird. Like,
they're cut from the same cloth. If you want to see, Akira probably has, like, an advantage if you take the feat at face value, the one in the recent chapter, then maybe you could say that she's stronger. It's sort of weird, though, considering not only the character that she's dodging, but the character that she's saving. Yeah, she'll be, like, insane. Which I don't think is true, especially since she used like, "Oh, I need help," like right after that.
Yeah, if you think Akira's in the GOAT tier, if you think Akira's unironically above Kanaguri, then you know what?
Maybe, bro. Maybe.
Do you, bro? I don't know why she asked for his help. But in the high tier we have Fat Sakamoto. I mean, he's training he's getting all of them. He's training all of them. They can't be a burden to him. He's leading the squad. They haven't surpassed him yet, pretty much. Like,
even if their stats are close to his combat skill, which Rion mentions is a big factor into like whether you like win a fight or not. And when assassins are relative, is just so much higher than theirs, and his experience is so much higher that he can just beat all of them.
And like I was
fairly fine. He can use anything as a weapon, right?
Yeah, anything. And Akira's whole thing, like, Akira out of Heisuke and Shin is, like, the best in terms of hand-to-hand combat and, like, physical movements or whatever.
And Sakamoto literally fought somebody that has her same power, like, day in and day out, so.
Yeah, I mean, self-explanatory. Now we have the order level. These are characters that are on the level of the order. Oh my god, all left are just the strong people now.
I think it's the JCC squad, right?
Yes, starting off at the bottom, we have the Academy Trio or prequel Team Sakamoto. That being Sakamoto, Rion, and Young Nagumo. These guys are here because they were able to adapt to the likes of Kindaka, the leader of the order. They grew a lot more powerful. Not only was Satoto their teacher, and they grew more powerful from her, but they also fought Kindaka and grew more powerful from that experience. I mean, Rion, like, she has the pathways that can allow her to freely adapt. Nagumo is somebody who, weirdly enough, is, like, able to keep up with all three of them while still, like, deceiving and keeping, like, his real power hidden, it seems like. Like, even when he was fighting Kindaka, it was like, oh, yeah, are you really... He thought... He said that Sakamoto was stronger than him, and then Kindaka called him out on lying. So, like, it's weird. He could just weirdly keep up with that. We have and obviously with the JCC Sakamoto, he's pretty much the strongest version of that character, or the what am I saying? The strongest of the trio. Because Rion even admits that in terms of like a close quarters fight, she's stronger, but in a normal fight with like stuff around, he would just win. JCC Azuki is also here. I mean, He just kills Rion. Sakamoto kills
Yeah, he
Rion.
just kills Rion, but Sakamoto can beat Rion, so that doesn't mean much. And
Yeah.
his combat skill is obviously worse. You could maybe say he does like a slight bit better against Kindaka, right? Or he had a better strategy, maybe. That's like the only thing I can think of as to give him an advantage over the others. But
Next up, we have Haruma. Now, the reason why I'm putting Haruma above the Academy Trio is... Oh, and also, by the way, the Academy Trio, for reference, well, because they adapted Kindaka, the leader of the order, by proxy, they would have to be order level, and they also train under Satoto, who was invited to the order. But Azuki specifically calls out Fat Sokka for being weaker than the current Fat Sokka being weaker than the Academy one, or at least his body being more dull, which should imply that he's just weaker. So, yeah. Those for who wanted to know that. For order level, next up we have Haruma, Osaragi, and Hio, and Kumanomi. These four
most of these guys are
these four
sort of
characters,
feetless.
like we were talking about with Heisuke, Shin, and Akira. These guys are very situational. I'm honestly.
I would say the only thing, because I am an Osaragi glazer, if you want to say Kumanomi was kind of afraid of her, that's like something, I guess.
Yeah, I will. But listen, I thought we were gonna get like her just killing her.
I thought they were gonna scrap.
Yeah, I thought she was gonna kill Kumanomi, but the sweating feet probably doesn't mean much in general. I mentioned it in my video, but that was when the chapter like just came out, so that's why I mentioned it.
Jackaboy has a question concerning the camera guy's Dura. How tough do you think he is? We should probably talk about that when we get to him, right?
Man got pretty good Dura. I think he should be tougher than Gaku. Osaragi, weakest order member. Okay, well, Kanagori, we haven't gotten to him yet on the list, but we will get to him, so your question will be answered very shortly.
He's so gullible. Sakamoto versus Baki. What are your thoughts, Ty?
Baki fucking destroys him, probably. But
Dang.
But these four honestly are probably these four, like with the JCC trio and Azuki, are probably that close to each other. I'm not gonna lie. Like Haruma, like we were mentioning earlier, takes like no damage the entire arc until Shin uses that final move on him. Kumanomi and Haruma, the whole narrative of X's group is that these guys are like failed experiments that were constructed to be order level.
Yeah, and they were like they were confident they could take on the order, except for Takamura, obviously. But like with just those guys.
Yeah, Haruma also gets strength compared like Hio because he's like a Hulk guy. I honestly, in my opinion, me and Isk were talking about it. I honestly think Haruma stat wise could probably beat Kumanomi, just because every single time Kumanomi threw something at Shishiba and it was like the metal, like either the nail gun, the spiral gun, the truck, the metal hand, Shishiba either blocked or just took 0 damage from those hits. But Haruma was the one who was like initiating the fight off screen, and that's when we see him actually getting damaged. And
I'll have injuries. Okay, so he might be like a little faster, maybe a little stronger. I think Kumanomi probably is the range advantage on him, so maybe she could probably just keep throwing stuff at him if we're talking about a matchup. But yeah, he does seem to be the physically superior of the two. I'm pretty sure this is the guy that Osaragi turned into mincemeat, right?
No, that's Osaragi turned Carolina Reaper into mincemeat, but
okay.
Osa should be here just because she what's it called?
Is in the order.
Well,
and
not only that, but she kind of does show at least semi relativity to Shishiba. It's weird. It's not. I wouldn't say relativity, but
it's sort of like they're in the same league.
Yeah, like relative. I guess relative authority would be a better term. But she just has the least experience of the order. The same Shin that could like at least damage Haruma and catch take him aback. Because that should be, even though it is a new power, I do think he should be, like, physically, like, weakened by that point. Whereas with, like,
he's got, like, whooped.
Shin and Turbocharged Mafuyu 2v1'd Osa or, like, in the same room as her, and they, like, it was literally danger sounds. Whereas Shin, like, nerfed against Haruma specifically and had to adapt to the situation that he was in. And Haruma, the way he
Yeah,
fights,
but they were like, oh, if Osaragi comes for us, we're gonna die or
yeah.
whatever.
And if
They
Haruma
had to run away with the ghost
and
trick
if
thing.
Haruma's whole thing is that he purposely holds back, then Osaragi is just gonna like she's not gonna let that slide. Like Haruma's gonna be like, whoa, because you're let's play some sport. And Oso's just gonna
Let's
come
play those
in
sports and
with
she's
the
gonna chop them up.
with the razors, turn them into ribbons. It's over. Yeah. Next up is Hio. I think Hio has better stats than Osaragi, if I'm being honest. Like, he, like, punches Kumanomi through fucking buildings, and they're breaking constantly, punching cars in half, catching, enraged Sakamoto's attacks, like, easily in the hospital. Back
In the JCC.
Yeah, in the JCC. He also, like, after the apart fight, he just, like, like, the whole thing of Sakamoto getting closer to his, current strength or whatever, right? Like, we see this fat version of Sakamoto finally adapting and getting accustomed to it. And then Hio just wails on him and he's like, you're not him, you're not in the order, like you're trying, like,
You're not him, you're not him, you're
in
not
the
him.
hospital. And Kumanomi versus Hio is really, I was talking about it a lot in my comment section. I've been seeing it a lot. A lot of people were like, oh, well, Hio needed to protect Heisuke, and yeah, the Kumanomi probably would have lost. But honestly, the thing is that Heisuke ended up becoming, like, less of a burden and more of like an actual asset, and was unironically surviving hits for Hio. So it's
And I think he did do a little bit of damage or like catch her off guard for a second to help him.
Yeah, that too. Also, Hio himself is just made out of metal, or like his or not made out of metal.
Does she throw like trucks at Hio? I don't remember.
Like
Does she do that?
No.
Yeah, well, yeah. So that may indicate that she could have probably done like a little more, like start throwing a bunch of cars at him or something.
Hold on, I need to show the panel when they had the first interaction. I honestly, like, I think Kumanomi just shitted on Hio low key. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I like this shit. Hold on. Like, he tries coming at her or whatever, right? And then she pulls, like, she catches him off guard with the
metal. Oh my god.
Yeah, and then after that, she pulls him into a bus and then fucking, like, puts the 2 stop signs in his neck and then drags him out of the top of the bus.
So you enjoy pain. Yeah.
And his whole thing is having physical strength with which Kumanomi could survive. So.
Yeah.
I think this is a good order level tier. You know, not bad.
Yeah, if Osa had more feats, she may be higher, but she just like the only thing that she has is just like, oh, she's like maybe sorta kinda what's his name? I almost called him Nagamo. Shishiba, like rival, and she might have scared Kumanomi once.
Yeah.
Which doesn't mean she'll win a fight, especially since her weapon's made of metal.
Yeah. Order. I'm just gonna call this order plus, pretty much. This is like the tier. I'm telling you guys, the gaps between tiers are so minimal. But oh wait, no, actually no. At the top of order level, it wasn't Kumanomi. It was Kanaguri and Satoda, right?
Yeah, so, Satoda.
Okay, I'll address. I'm not gonna say the stuff with the new chapter yet. I want you to say that because I know you were talking about it more. But I'll say this before that. Kanaguri. I mean, he just fights like a skinny Sakamoto on top of the fat pressure point that was relative to said skinny Sakamoto. So theoretically, or like logically, he should be. He's taking attacks from a skinny Sakamoto that should be like stronger from the one from the JCC, in my opinion. And also, we do have him like fighting Satoda, fucking like him. He like out of Hio and Osa dealing with Shin's future sight, he like completely like negged it, like him being able to just alter it completely, which is fucking crazy. I'm not gonna lie. And Kanaguri, what Hio has in an AP is what Kanaguri basically has in endurance, because this man literally took
the guy takes a beating. I thought the fight was over like 3 times and he just kind of eats it.
Pretty much there was a point in the fight where Sakamoto did seemingly win, but then Kanaguri was just like, oh yeah guys,
nah,
wearing makeup. Like it's
he's just like nah.
He's able to put on makeup and show and act like he's it's so stupid.
It's ridiculous. There is one more thing about the Kumanomi thing. Do you want to talk about that or?
Yeah, there was. Oh yeah, I wanted to say this as well. To be fair as well, the moment Skinny Sokka actually became like really, really strong, or like actually locked in, he just folded him. And Satoda, Satoda and Kanaguri, like I said in my order ranking, they're just relative. They fight each other. Satoda gets caught off guard, which leads into her getting beat by Kanaguri. But then Satoda comes back from death and like fucks up his eye. But then Kanaguri, even after that, and the Skinny Saka is like, oh yeah, I took no damage. So honestly, Kanaguri could be above Satoda. Satoda could be above Kanaguri. Doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna. It's up to you. But yeah, I
Right.
wanted you to address the.
The main reason why we had them this high comparative to what was her name? Jesus, I already almost forgot. There it is. Kumanomi is because they had in their recent chapter, Akira does save Kumanomi. This is likely due to her like emotion from what's it called, Takamura X. This is likely due to Kumanomi being like emotionally distraught though. So she starts crying once X starts attacking her. And Akira, basically right after this, when Kumanomi's about to attack her or crash out, is like, "Oh, help me, Kanaguri." And the way it's framed, Kanaguri does seem like he actually could just like deal with Kumanomi quite quickly, or like he could deal with it, but he's intentionally not doing anything to sort of imply that because like he's an asshole. So the narrative does make it seem like Kanaguri could
Yeah,
just like deal with
I'll show the panels for what
Konami
your.
fairly easily.
I'll show just to show on screen. I was reading it and honestly, like, okay, I definitely can see the vision. I'm not gonna lie, like seeing like, oh, Kanaguri help me with Kumanomi, and it's like, oh yeah, don't lend on me for help, implying that he could, like, it's a possibility that he could help her, but it's probably more so in line with like the film thing. It's like, oh, I can't help you. The character needs to overcome. Well, that in itself could also just mean as well that he could deal with it, right? Like the protagonist needs to carry it or needs to handle it alone, implying that he
Yeah.
can't do it, but it would be better for
This is also a bro with one eye, so
Kumanomi as
he has
well.
a
Like,
whole new depth
I
perception.
will
Yet
say
he
I
could
wasn't thinking
still
of that
think
as
he
well. I
can walk
forgot
on it.
Kumanomi should be like mentally distressed right now.
Yeah, at this starting point, maybe not when she's angry later, but in this scene, definitely, it does seem like she kind of doesn't dodge, not intentionally, obviously, but because she's nerfed, because she's mentally distressed. But when she's bloodlusted later, it doesn't really seem like she retains that weakness, especially since considering what happens with X.
Really, Kumanomi could just be. It comes down to, does the hacks overcome the endurance, and also giant laser like.
Go to chapter 89, page 16. Hakise, Kanaguri, and Totoda are in the same tier after that. What happens on page 16 of chapter 89, Ty?
Let me go look.
No, left.
Wait, I have the physical. Hold on, wait. Let me go get it.
What a flex. We will be getting the real manga. This is me whenever I talk about Goro versus Rover.
What chapter did you say?
Chapter 89 and page 16. It's regarding the Kanaguri Satoda fight, I believe.
Whoa, I just slammed all my books on my keyboard. Whoops.
These people are drywall level and as fast as a line or something. Whoa. That's like
what do you say?
Batman Plus. Chapter 89, page 16. He thinks that Kanaguri and Satoda aren't in the same tier because of that.
89. This is 88. Oh, I have. Oh, the last volume I have is chapter 89. W. 89 what?
Page 16. I don't know why I did it by page, but let me see if I can look at it through Manga C as well.
16. 16. Is he talking about Kanaguri cutting Satoda?
I assume so. I mean, it's off screen, right? Or at least that's what it looks like. Or maybe is he talking about her saying that she can't budge him? It could be that.
He said 89, page 16.
Yeah.
page 16.
It could be what's it called? Her talking about him not being able to budge him or something like that.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Just says how many times do we have to retake this scene. Yeah,
Maybe
this is the right page. What are you talking about?
he could have missed.
I think he's talking about Kanaguri, like, is it Satoda tanking Kanaguri's thing? Because if so, right?
It was a 1v1 fight and Kanaguri took no damage while Satoda was messed up. He's saying because I think he's trying to say that because it was like the off-screen thing where they come back and she's leaking and he's not.
There is, that's not an off-screen thing though. What? You mean the
Right.
You mean
I
like
think that's what he's referring to,
wait,
like
let me-
where she's like, "Oh,
it
I
was a
can't
1v1
budge
and
him,"
Kanaguri took
and
no
he's
damage
like,
while Satoda was messed up. It wasn't the fact that he took no. Satoda while Satoda was messed up. What happened was the opposite happened actually. Kanaguri used cut on Satoda, right? He used actually. Let me pull out I'm pulling this out for you guys. Let me pull out the receipts so y'all don't think I'm crazy. Hold on. Because this is what I'll tell you page for page what happens. Kanaguri goes in for the off guard cut. Satoda gets cut. Satoda pulls this out. Kanaguri then goes, because it cuts to another scene. Kanaguri then goes, "Oh, how many times do we have to retake this scene?" She then says, "As long, as long as however I have to protect my students for." The students then come in. Satoda turns around, is like, "Oh, get out." Kanaguri smiles, and then he slashes her. So he off guards Satoda, is the thing. There isn't that whole that what you're saying is not true. That's the exact opposite. But what happened was because of the off guard and Satoda damn near dying or whatever, right? Even in death, she just like throws that shit in his eye and he gets fucked up. And the
is there actually a reason for him
the
to?
injuries that he does fake are against Sakamoto, not against Satoda. We do know the Satoda injuries are not what's it called? What was I saying? Fuck. What was I saying? Fuck.
You're talking about the injuries he faked being against Sakamoto and not Satoda.
It's not Satoda. Let me get the panels just for you. For a second. Kanaguri. Yeah. So he uses cut. She then does that, or how long it takes till the film is destroyed. Then the students come in, and then this happens on consecutive pages. These are all what's happening in chapter 89. Page 18, you students get out. And then it leads into Satoda getting stabbed. That's what really happens.
Yeah, I don't think it doesn't look like he just like blitzed her or anything.
Yeah. And also, like I said, these two are relative. A lot of these guys in the order are relative. Like Kumanomi, Satoda, and Kana could be at the top of order. Pretty much. Anyway, let's now talk about the Order Plus characters. Wait. In the Order level as well, for those who are wondering, we have Torres and Tanabata.
That guy.
These are the two new Order members. I don't know where to really rank them, per se, because, like, they don't fight. Like, Tanibata's only interaction is making Osaragi bleed and then, like, fucking up a suppressed skinny Sakamoto, who's, like, holding a birthday cake, so it doesn't really matter. Torres, on the other hand, he doesn't fight anyone in the entire series. However, he, like, takes 0 damage from Nagumo and, like, she is the only character to have ever like broken Shishiba's hammer off of like physical contact, which not even Haruma could do that. or Hyo. So or like well, whole characters like Hyo, I should say, like Haruma. But or even punches from Kumanomi as well. Like I don't know. I would put, honestly, this is where they would be. I'm gonna put them probably just below Haruma. But this is probably the baseline for now. I don't know where I don't know where else to put them on the list. But this is where they could be. If you have arguments for them being above, or these guys being above Torres and Tanaba, then go ahead. Order plus, I believe it's pretty much just gonna be like what I did in my order video. It's gonna be Yotsumura, Shishiba, Kandaka. Kandaka, the JCC trio needed to adapt to Kandaka constantly in order to actually, become order level. He's the leader of the order, so obviously he should be above the baseline of said order. The reason why I would put him above old Yotsumura is just because it's just purely they're both held back by age, and Kandaka's whole thing is that he can at least use max gear once before his age fucks him up, whereas Yotsumura is being held back by the same thing Kandaka is already being held back by, but at least Kandaka could still perform his crazy moves, at least momentarily, before he gets overwhelmed. The thing is, physically, he should be the fastest character in the verse, but due to assassins having skill, and like being able to read people's movements, people like Shishiba should be able to deal with them. We also know that the chairman trusted Yotsumura more, I believe, right? In the prequel arc?
Yes.
So that's also another thing to keep in mind. Hyo also thought if Sakamoto and Nagamo did do that shit, like it wouldn't have went well. Yotsumura as well. The reason why I consider him at least the bare minimum for Order Plus is because what I see as an Order Level Plus member, or Order Level Plus person, pretty much fighting 2 or more like Order people, right? With that, we know that fucking Yotsumura fought Nagamo, Shishiba, and Osaragi all in one sitting. And the moment Osaragi pulled up, he was like, oh yeah, 3, that's too much. So he thought fighting Nagamo and he would have gotten cooked, but
he would have gotten cooked. Yeah.
Him being able to stand up to those 2 is kind of insane.
He also wasn't particularly afraid of Nagamo, even though I think Nagamo has like lore to be the strongest in the order, or the second strongest.
Yeah, besides Takamura, he's pretty much just the GOAT.
Because I think the way X frames is, though, it's like a lore type thing. That he's like superior. He's like, oh, you took out one of the stronger members. Like he's touted as that.
Yeah. Kandaka, we already talked about Kandaka. Due to Kandaka's old age, and since even JCC Azuki is perceiving him, and like JCC Nagamo is reacting to JCC Azuki, this should mean, again, Kandaka is faster than physically, yes, but characters on that order level should be able to react to Kandaka. But Shishiba,
he did have that one burst of speed against the JCC. Was it Uzuki, where he does outspeed him very definitively?
Yeah,
at the end there.
That one point. But it's the fact that Nagamo not only can they use skill to at least have an idea of where the opponent will be, but Nagamo has had 8 years since that incident in the JCC to grow and become constantly more powerful. And this is the same Nagamo that Shishiba is not afraid to fight and is getting constantly compared to. Now, I do think Nagamo is stronger than Shishiba, but it's the fact that Shishiba scales to a way older and more experienced Nagamo is the reason why I think he would be able to at least beat Kandaka. And I mean, I don't the thing is as well, I do think he also has just better endurance feats and better showings. The moment he decides to okay, you know what, I'm gonna kill Yotsumura, he just does it, doesn't really give a fuck. Haruma and Kumanomi blatantly are just throwing physical blows. He gets fucking cut by Carolina's jet blade. I don't see this old boomer taking what my GOAT is taking. That's all I'm saying. I think Shishiba would just
would throw his back out.
Shishiba would just barely manage to win.
Kandaka also has stamina issues, yeah. Then it's the next trio, right?
Yeah. Wait, no. The next. No, no, no.
Because
It's
it's was it Sokka and then Nagamo, right?
Oh yeah. It's oh yeah. True. Sokka, Nagumo,
These
and
characters
Gaku.
are sort of close because Nagamo wins due to main or against Gaku due to mainly like his intelligence and but Gaku does
Gaku.
have better
Okay.
feats against
Look at the
X.
list. I'm
Or
not
not
gonna
X.
lie. Gaku stat wise might unironically like well not in the strongest tier, but listen, he is without a doubt like top like four strongest characters in Sakamoto.
He's definitely like stronger and more has better endurance, but it seems like Nagamo moves a bit faster, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
he moves a bit faster, has the invisible blade, has way more ways to deal with Gaku. And I think honestly, Gaku's physical stats, the thing, Shishiba's main thing, right? Not only is his like laid back attitude, it's really the power from his blows, right? Like I think that's really the main thing from him. It's like the simplistic weapons, him being able to like use his power really effectively. Gaku is just like a way more like he's just a better Shishiba in that sense where he's just a
Yeah.
physical fucking monster.
He has larger weapons. He is
It's not
like
even just
higher
that he can
arguably
hit hard. He
physical
could take
strength.
so much fucking. He has like the endurance of Kanaguri and like the physical like strength of fucking
He
Shishiba.
survived the onslaught that Nagamo like literally when what's it called Sokka saw him, he thought he was in a pack. Like he survived that and then still moves on to fight Takamura.
Did
I
the
think he's the
best.
only
He
one that
did better,
damages him.
bro. He did better against fucking Takamura in the end against than Nagamo and Sakamoto.
Now, granted, of course, yeah, Nagamo was mentally nerfed, I believe. He was hampered because of the Akira thing. Akira. I always mix them up. Rion thing earlier.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's true. But Gaku as well. What's it called? You could make an argument for Gaku maybe just growing or whatever, like getting more
Yeah, I
powerful.
think these three characters are interchangeable. Obviously, from my biased opinion, I would
I
put Nagamo at the top.
I think
But
I okay. If you were to like hold a gun, if you were to hold a gun to my head, I would say order plus would be Nagamo, Gaku, Slim Sokka, just because even what's it called? There's no real proof of Sokka like Slim Sokka at least getting stronger. And Sakamoto literally when they went to go visit X after the prequel arc, this dude goes, "Yo, if you see Gaku, we're running. Like run, like dip. We cannot fight him." Whether that is whether that's talking about current Fast Sokka or Slim Sokka, that's really up in the air. We really don't know. But I do believe the fact that Slim Sokka and Nagamo were kind of portraying relativity when Nagamo was like fucking weak, like way more weakened than Sakamoto, and Gaku even while weakened was still doing like Sakamoto was like, "Oh, I need to go grab his blade," and couldn't do that, and Gaku was able to stab Takamura's eye. So I do
yeah,
think Gaku could probably beat Sakamoto if I'm being honest.
yeah.
If we're being honest,
Then it's
Gaku by the
the
end of the
final
fight could be at
trio.
the top, but I do see Nagumo at the very
Nagamo is
just
faster and has the intelligence advantage, so
yeah,
he
I do think
gets
he
like a bit
would
of a
just be
counter.
able to pull something out of the book, just a little slick W, just to
But
get that
it's
win.
literally barely high
Yeah.
diff.
Now this next
Extreme diff.
tier. Now I was talking about how all the tiers are close. I'm letting y'all know right now. These next three characters, anyone even in order plus, are not touching these guys. I'm not. At best,
These three
at
are
best they're
yeah.
cutting their eye.
Should we get
Versus
to
Gaku.
the Takamura versus Prime Sokka?
Yeah. Oh yeah. We'll get. Yeah. Actually, well, let's do that. Let's just do it right now. We at the top we have Takamura. Slur with Takamura's personality. I mean, he just kills Takamura, obviously. And Prime Sakamoto. Now, let's talk. Prime
Let's
Sokka
talk.
versus Takamura. Okay. Look, I get it. What was it? Deadliest JA threat or whatever. There's a bunch of like little statements that Takamura has. That's cool. Prime Sokka at the end of the day in the assassin history in Assassin's history is the greatest assassin. Even I'm pretty sure the raw translation pretty much just says even like no matter like regardless of everything, he is just the GOAT, like the undisputed GOAT in history. I need to find
Yeah.
that raw translation, but
He's like it's like Mihawk and Shanks. Like he has all the Takamura gets all the cool feats, but Sokka just has the statement that makes it not matter.
yeah, that's literally it. A lot of people like to say, "Oh, well, it could just mean that he has a good way of killing." But it's like
Okay.
that's not even what when they were showing the panels or whatever. When we see its prime, it's just there's no specific way Sakamoto goes about killing. He has a unique trait and whatnot, like like weaponry and stuff like Peacemaker, but it's not that you know what I mean. It doesn't really.
By the way, do you think the X Sakamoto interaction is Prime or no? Where he
What
mauls him? Where Sakamoto mauls X? Do you think that's a Prime Sakamoto or no?
the fat Sakamoto?
The one, do you remember the fight with X where he's like, why he didn't, or why Sakamoto didn't just kill him? Like that fight.
Yeah, when he's
The
fat.
one where, no, the one where Sakamoto beats up X. That one.
Oh, the hidden inventory arc. No, I don't think that's Prime.
Okay.
The closest, funny enough, the closest version of Prime Sokka is where's the panel? It's this is the closest thing we've seen to Prime Sokka, the Kamihate thing. This is Sakamoto in the order on a mission. That's the closest thing we've seen.
But yeah, Prime Sokka just has a statement. Like maybe if you wanna, because I think the other argument people use for Takamura is like, oh, he got stronger than Sakamoto remembered, right, or something like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't really mean that he's stronger than himself or his previous self. It's just that Takamura just got way more powerful compared to when Sakamoto was in the order. It just like if Takamura got a state, the only thing I can maybe think of as like a cope is if you say, oh, Nagamo thought that only Takamura could kill Takamura and he knows about Prime Sokka, I guess. But like obviously Prime Sokka's not there anymore, so it's kind of a weird statement to use, but that's the only way that you could try to argue that Takamura is greater. But Prime Sokka just has a statement, and I'm gonna be honest, the end of the story is probably gonna be him returning to his prime or being close to his prime and beating X, who has Takamura's powers. But I would say, at least for now, unless there's like a new statement or Takamura has something else,
the thing
Prime Sokka should be greater.
The main thing that okay, this is what where I'm at. Takamura is the strongest, like at the moment, like in terms of the current assassin world, he is definitely the strongest. But the only reason for that is because Sakamoto's washed. Like Takamura was an assassin.
It really is a Gojo and Sukuna situation.
Yeah, bro, and a lot of people see that fucking panel. Oh, Takamura's stronger than he was back then. Oh, he's stronger than Prime, bro. Slim Sakamoto is not at Prime Sakamoto level. Okay, that's just a fact. He is just simply not there yet.
Bro, if he was Prime Sakamoto's here when he had that like one fade, he probably would have mauled the order.
Is Gaku? Oh god, bro, is the Gaku stocks that down bad? Is the cope that insane?
Listen, if Skinny Sokka current is prime level. If Skinny Sokka current is prime level, when he fought like the order with like Shishiba and Osaragi, they would have all got mauled. They would have died. It would have been over. He's just not there yet. Maybe later in the story he'll reach that tier, but Prime Sakamoto is really just portrayed to be a different being.
For reference, even when after Takamura's death happens, Sakamoto is still recognized as like the worst threat of the assassin world. Like we do see that in this here. Let me get the panel for you guys. Like, bro,
the strongest assassin in history, bro. He's just
former assassin. The former top assassin of the industry, a master disguise in the worst terrorist of the history of the JAA. Like,
he still says top. Like he knows about Takamura. He still says top. Prime Sokka just has the narrative. He has the statements to imply that he would.
Takamura. Now, whether or not that Takamura becoming stronger means he's stronger than Prime Sokka, we actually don't have an answer to that question. But what the narrative has told us so far is that Prime Sakamoto is the strongest assassin to ever live, and is still considered the top, or is at the top of the industry. So, with that, okay. Wow.
We didn't talk about X, I guess.
Wait, what? Oh, well. Slur as Takamura's personality just beats Takamura.
Yeah.
But
Well, do you think it's it's off guard or no? Do you think it's off guard? Probably not, right? Because it sort of implies no. Because he's like, oh, only Takamura can
but
kill
yeah,
Takamura.
he can use Takamura's thing still. It's just that he can't like
Yeah, that
control it
was
all
the
the time.
only thing that I could like think of as like a maybe sort of argument. And like I guess he does look a little weird in the current, but he is out of control. So maybe it's like he gets weaker, but the one that killed Takamura
I think,
should
but
be
the
Raider.
reason why though, I think it's not necessarily he can't use it in a fight. It's just that he can't use it as like a personality switch to sustain himself. Like with Rion, he can.
Yeah,
Like with Rion, it flicks on and off. He with
yeah.
Takamura because of how strong he is, he can't really do that. But he could still
Oh yeah,
fight.
there's like one last thing. Where do you think X scales like without that personality? Where would he be?
Okay, X without the personality
The
is
Takamura, yeah.
probably just here, bro. To be
It
honest.
does seem like I don't know. You could maybe say that X does sort of admit inferiority to Gaku a little bit because he's like, oh, they're playing. I'm pretty sure
Oh
they're
yeah,
planning for Takamura was just
he
to
did
jump
say he
him.
is the best bet against
Yeah, but it is a little weird because Gaku, when Takamura pulls up the first time, he's like, "Oh, you should like strut your stuff." He's like, So it does maybe imply that Gaku thought that like X is
I think
superior
he
to
would just be
him.
here. I think he'd just be in between Nagamo and Gaku. I think
Yeah,
that makes sense.
that is an
At worst
interesting
with
thing though.
downplay, he's like I don't know. I don't know. He's probably yeah. I think honestly, in between Gaku makes sense.
But yeah, that's like the only other thing that I thought would be interesting to talk about the X without Takamura
I mean,
personality.
yeah, him being on that, yeah, Gaku, it's interesting. Him being on Gaku's team, maybe. 17. Let me see what you guys are talking in the chat.
I'll say maybe a
The
little.
greatest assassin in history is the strongest assassin of today, Takamura. Okay, I like that. I like that.
Takamura is the embodiment of killing intent.
Sort of
Reacts
look
to
like a
the.
blitz. I don't know, but by that logic, Gaku was taken by surprise against Nagumo.
He's talking about the Satoda stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, yeah.
So I just said like, oh, they're not. We're not saying Satoda's like outright superior. We're just saying they're relative.
We
And
don't.
if you
Yeah,
want to say the
Satoda. I think
Kanaguri might be
Satoda.
like slightly stronger, same with Gaku and Agamo.
Yeah.
If you want to say Gaku wins, I think that'll be fine.
For those who were not here when we were making the list or were not listening, I'm gonna do an overview right now. So since we did bottom to top, we'll go top to bottom. The strongest we got Prime Sakamoto, Slur with Takamura's personality, and Takamura himself. All three of these guys literally just fold the verse. They're just the goats of the verse. Takamura is the go of today. Slur becomes Takamura. Prime Sako is the go of the entire assassin world. Order plus Nagumo besides Takamura is literally called the Order's second biggest threat. Him and Gaku go and like have the like highest diff battle in the entire series.
Yeah. And then X should just be like around there.
Yeah, normal X
Without
would be around here, in between there. Slim Sakamoto should be below both of them just by a little because even Nagumo, after all those injuries, like performed the worst against Takamura. If I'm being real, Shishiba, Kendaka, and Yotsumura, they're just they're not quite there yet, in my opinion. Like they still. They're still getting jumped by like a little bit weaker characters and whatnot. Getting overwhelmed. Still need a little bit more to go. Honestly, I think. Putting these guys in order level makes more sense, right? You think so?
You think there's a decent like jump? Not like a large jump, but
It's
like
just because the fact that Kumanomi and Horuma they do scale to Shishiba in stats. I'll do that. I think that makes sense.
yeah.
I want Shishiba to be at the top of his own tier.
This guy pulled the Fubuki. He's the top of the B class because he's in every A class.
Yeah. Okay. Other than those three, you have Satoda. She was invited to the order but declined it. I do think Kanaguri could. Honestly, I'll put Kanaguri just above her, just because of the endurance thing. I'll do it. But
yeah, she's an old lady.
Kanaguri, Satoda, and Kumanomi are very close with one another. Hio performed an all-star performance against Kumanomi, but just came down a little short. Osa, Tanabata, and Torres, they are contending for weakest order members. Tanabata and Torres, they have impressive feats, but we just need to see more from them. Whereas Osa has the least experience.
And least feats.
Yeah, and the least amount of feats. And also performs, like, the worst against, like, yeah. Pretty much.
She did kind of like not kill Shin, which is a little
Yeah,
embarrassing.
she didn't know. Like, she also performed like she did absolutely nothing. She had one of the coolest panels in the whole series just to do absolutely nothing to Yotsumura. But Haruma, JCC, Sakamoto, Uzuki, Rion, and Nagumo are like in that order tier. Like, you know, these guys are. Haruma was artificially made to be in that tier. Sakamoto, Uzuki, Rion, and Nagumo adapt to the point where they're able to combat Kandaka to a degree. These guys are above the likes of Fat Current, Sakamoto. Rion even confirms this. Heisuke, Shin, and Akira still need to surpass the sensei. Mafuyu needs to be, if Mafuyu just performs kind of bad against suppressed Osa, like he's like, it's like, oh wow, I'm finally becoming strong, but he's still not him in any way, shape, or form. He should be above apart though, just because even like base Heisuke before the glow up was reacting to him. So Mafuyu could probably just beat him up before he could overwhelm him with the wires. Shania is limited by his lagging and would get overwhelmed by Apart, since Apart fought a way stronger Fat Sakamoto. Well, I shouldn't have said that. They fought the same Fat Sakamoto. It's just Fat Sakamoto had had a way harder time against
Apart.
than he did Shania. Shania got put in a fucking like a chair and like got sent flying, bro. Like I was telling guys, I'm like, bro,
He got hit with a Wile E. Coyote trap.
That has to be one of like the worst like fucking
Beat
like
down.
finishers, no doubt. Oh my god. And next up we have Boiled.
Apart also has like massive range with the wires and stuff, whereas Bro's just punch kick.
Yeah, and he's limited by those movements too. Fucking like 0.5 like second delay.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Fucking
He's a LAN adapter.
Bro is fucking lagging, bro. Yeah, he needs the Ethernet cord. Boiled should be right below these guys just because Skinny Sakamoto and Fat Current Sakamoto should be, well, the Fat Sakamoto that fought Apart and the Skinny Sakamoto that fought Boiled should be relative, with Fat Saka maybe being stronger just because the strongest are the ones who adapt to their bodies. With Retired Saka being at the bottom of high tier. Oh, that's actually wait, I didn't even realize we had Fat Current. Yo, that's crazy. We had Fat Current Saka. Oh, actually, I'm gonna do that. Look at that. You see that? Because Retired Saka was at the bottom here, and since he got way,
yeah,
that makes sense. Oh my god! Oh my goodness!
Didn't come in the grace of Takamura's strongest.
At the top of high mid, we got Retired Fat Sakamoto. He's able to react and put up a block against Boiled, but doesn't really do much. However, with his ingenuity and his hacks, he probably just overwhelms the fuck out of Carolina Reaper and Club Jam. These guys, I honestly think Shin and Amain could get the jump on him, especially after already experiencing Club Jam. Amain could maybe do something, but with their hacks, it's probably not likely. Next up would be Natsuki. He has the Nitro Bombs that would just overwhelm the likes of Mafuyu, Toromaru, and the first version of Shin. Natsuki's ingenuity is even helping current Shin to this day. I honestly see him probably, by the time we next see him fight, he's probably going to be like around here in the high tier, probably a main as well. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see, honestly. But after that, we have Exhibition, Mafuyu, Toromaru, and Precognition Shin. These guys pretty much, they're just stronger than like the prisoners, you know. Kind of self-explanatory. They're exiting that like early Sokka tier and are creeping into new levels. Mid tier, we have Drunken Fist Lu. She's relative to the first initial version of Shin. We have right after them the prisoners. The prisoners, they don't really do much. Minimalist gets negged. Dump gets negged. Saw gets sunned. There's really no scaling for them besides Saw and Apart, who Saw we know is absolutely the weakest and Apart is absolutely the strongest. So there's really no in between with Minimalist and Dump, because we just don't know where they are. Kashima would be next after the prisoners. The prisoners are just Kashima sends them after Sakamoto after he couldn't deal with them, so obviously they would be above him. And because of his body, I don't think Kaji would be able to imitate his moves and would probably get overwhelmed, and he just kind of lacks like AP in general. And because of Kashima's body as well, I don't think Mafuyu or Beishin could really do anything to him. And Kaji performs the best against Gaku, which is why he's above base Mafuyu, and Mafuyu forces Shin to use Future Sight, therefore above Beishin. Makes sense, right? And finally, the low tier, we have Horiguchi. Horiguchi, the dinosaur dude. It's like it's a little gimmick, little fun placement because they had a 2v1. Honestly, in the first 30 chapters, this guy is a goat. Like he's unironically a high tier. So yeah. Next up we have Obigoro and Drunken Fist Lou. These guys are just way stronger than Tatsu and are like actually known threats in the assassin world. Tatsu's just a little rookie dude that Shin deals with. However, his poison could probably overwhelm Bacho and Sunhee. We just don't know 100% sure if that's possible. They could probably beat him by themselves, maybe. Or they could definitely win in a 2v1 scenario, and it's possible to win in a 1v1 scenario, but the poison probably overwhelms him. And then next up we have Lou. Base Lou, literally her only feat is putting up her guard before Sunhee kills her and beats up like a random dude. Base Lou literally does nothing. It is actually the weakest character in the series. Question mark tier, Kamihate. It's a very situational fighter. We really like. Okay, for those who are wondering where we could put him, he would be somewhere in here. Honestly, I think Kuminomi probably could win just because of a matchup, but I do think at the very least, he's above Hio. Should we keep him on the list just for, you know what? I'll just keep him on the list for now. Just so I don't, I don't get jumped. And we have the Geisha, doesn't really do much, gets negged. Asaki, chairman, doesn't really do much. Oki hasn't done anything. Uda hasn't done anything but blow himself up. Wu-Tang hasn't done anything. And all of these guys are random characters that I literally don't care about. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to make a tier dedicated to them.
Yeah, Ty, there was one more thing. People in the chat are saying Kanaguri says that X is the most lethal or possibly the most dangerous in JA history or whatever. Because he has Takamura's personality now. Which I guess could maybe slightly it is a statement. I would just say that.
Well, okay, but even think about that, right? You know how people are saying the Prime Sokka statement? They're using the wording and they're like, "Oh, the greatest doesn't necessarily mean the strongest."
Yeah.
How does the deadliest necessarily mean the strongest? You know what I'm saying?
I just said that at best he has less statements and inferior statements, or at least he has. Let's say that that statement is equal to Prime Sokka's. Sakamoto just has more statements. Takamura might be greater, but is less likely to be.
Yeah.
That's like at best for Takamura and X.
Yeah, it's kind of like a kid. It's honestly like it's a Majin Buu thing, bro. Like Sakamoto. Kid Buu and Buon. Literally, like, okay, but unlike that, Takamura doesn't have like a bunch of statements in an anime saying like, "Oh wow, he's actually the strongest assassin. He's actually the strongest assassin," like what Kid Buu does. But in that like normie sense, where it's like, "Oh, Kid Buu's the most dangerous," that's pretty much the Takamura Sakamoto thing. That's how you should look at it, guys.
Do you think it should be better for being newer? No, unless it's very like clear that the author has like changed his mind. Because the one with Shishiba is like a chapter before this one, right?
Yeah.
No, I don't
think, and I also don't. X is a fucking terrorist for like what he did right now. Like you want like the museum. I don't think you guys understand. The museum exhibit thing is like the biggest. This is the Shibuya equivalent of Sakamoto. This is the biggest event in the entire series. All these people gathering, like thousands of people or whatever. X just fucking killed fucking Takamura. You know what I'm saying? And also was like bombing the entire like. Him being the worst terrorist, I don't think is because of Takamura, and especially after what happened with the JCC. It's definitely not about fucking Takamura. It's definitely just about X, but yeah.
But yeah, I think at the very best for a Takamura fan, it's like a possibility that he's greater, but it's just not as likely as Sakamoto being greater.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself. And I think
it's like Mahito killing Sukuna. Listen, bro. Maybe a Mahito judgment, bro.
This is my tier. This is our tier list. Me and Godspeed's tier list. I think this is very.
I did it, and I haven't read Sakamoto in like forever.
I think this is based. I'm gonna have to change the thumbnail now because our first draft is different.
Yeah, if it was my tier list, I'll put Ozuraki higher. Well, I'll put all the women higher because I love women. But
Alright, dude. With that aside, guys, we're gonna get out of here. This is the Sakamoto Days tier list. If you got some contentions, man, you know what? Let me know down below. I'm gonna keep this up. I'll probably make this members only. If you guys aren't a member, by the way, you definitely should become a member. Join a member. It's like $1.99 for free access to videos and also to have access to daily live streams or weekly live streams, not daily. I'm not doing that shit. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, me and Godspeed do this shit. We're the greatest.
what's your